On February 3rd, 2026, something strange happened on Wall Street. The companies falling were not banks, they were not airlines, they were not oil producers, they were software companies, data companies, legal research companies, professional services companies, Thomson Reuters, Relx, Wolters Kluwer, LegalZoom, and other companies connected to legal data and professional software were suddenly hit by a wave of selling after Anthropic released new Claude tools for legal work. And the fear did not stop there. Within days, investors were asking whether the same pattern could spread across software itself, code, legal work, data work, office workflows, and eventually design. The reason was not a recession. It was not a missed earnings report. It was not a scandal. It was an AI company, Anthropic, the company behind Claude. At first, Claude looked familiar, a chatbot, a writing assistant, a coding tool. But by early 2026, Wall Street was starting to see something else, an AI system that could move into the work itself. So the question is not just why one AI product scared investors. The real question is why Wall Street suddenly looked at the software industry and saw something it had not seen before, a threat to the business model itself. To understand why Anthropic became so frightening to investors, we need to follow 4 moments. First, how enterprise software became one of Wall Street's safest stories. Second, how Claude moved from answering questions to doing work. Third, how that fear spread into design, where Adobe and Figma were already racing to protect their territory. And finally, why that forced investors to ask a darker question. If AI can do the work inside software, what happens to the companies that used to sell the software?
For years, software was one of Wall Street's favorite businesses. The model was simple. A company would build a tool, a business would pay for every employee who used it, and every year, that payment would repeat. This was the beauty of SaaS, software as a service. It was not just revenue, it was recurring revenue. And recurring revenue became the thing investors loved most. A legal team paid for legal research tools, a sales team paid for CRM seats, a finance team paid for analytics dashboards. A designer paid for creative software. A company grew from 1,000 employees to 10,000 employees, and the software bill grew with it. More users, more seats, more revenue. For a long time, that looked like one of the strongest business models in the world. But there was a hidden assumption under the whole system. The customer still needed humans to sit inside the software and do the work. The old software model was built around the user. One person uses a tool to write a contract, one person uses a tool to analyze a dataset, one person uses a tool to update a CRM, one person uses a tool to create a design. But AI agents changed the shape of that sentence. Now the question was not how many humans need access to the software. The question became how much of the work can be done without them. This is what made Anthropic different. Claude was not only answering questions, Claude was moving toward workflows. Anthropic said Claude Code had become a new era of agentic coding. And by February 2026, Claude Code had passed $2.5 billion in run rate revenue. That mattered because coding was not a soft use case. It was not just writing emails faster. It was software building software. They began to ask the next question. If an AI agent can help build software, debug software, and automate workflows, then what else can it do? Then came Claude Cowork. Anthropic was pushing Claude beyond the chat window and into professional workflows. Claude could sit across tools, read documents, draft outputs, analyze data, and automate parts of office work. That was the moment the story changed. Because Wall Street was no longer looking at Claude as a chatbot. It was looking at Claude as a worker. And that created a direct problem for companies that made money from human seats. If a law firm needs fewer people clicking through a legal database, what happens to the legal database company? If a sales team needs fewer people updating CRM records, what happens to the CRM vendor? If an analyst can ask an AI agent to pull, process, and summarize information, what happens to the companies charging for the old workflow? This was the fear. Not that software disappears overnight, but that the value moves away from the application, away from the seat, toward the agent. Markets often move before the full answer is clear. And in February 2026, investors moved fast. Thomson Reuters, Relx, Wolters Kluwer, and LegalZoom all became part of the same story. Investors were suddenly questioning whether AI agents could eat into legal research, compliance, document review, and professional information workflows. The logic was simple. If AI tools
tools let businesses do more with fewer people, then the traditional model of charging per software user becomes harder to defend. This is the part that matters. Investors were not just selling because Anthropic was growing. They were selling because Anthropic made an old question unavoidable. What is a software company worth if the user is no longer the center of the workflow? For years, software companies sold tools to humans, but AI agents suggested a different future. Humans give goals, agents do tasks, software becomes the background. And if software becomes the background, then the companies that own the interface may lose power. While investors were questioning old software companies, Anthropic's own numbers were moving in the other direction. In February 2026, Anthropic announced it had raised $30 billion at a $380 billion post-money valuation. The company said more than 500 customers were spending over $1 million annually on Claude. It said 8 of the Fortune 10 were Claude customers. And Claude Code, which became generally available in May 2025, had already grown to more than $2.5 billion in run rate revenue. These numbers changed the way investors saw Anthropic. This was not just a research lab. It was becoming an enterprise software company, but not the old kind. The old software companies sold applications. Anthropic was selling intelligence that could move through applications. That distinction is the whole story. And then the story became more uncomfortable, because the pressure was no longer limited to code, legal work, or data analysis. It moved into design. But the timing matters. Figma was not asleep. Long before Claude Design launched, Figma was already building AI into its own product. In 2025, it introduced Figma Make, a prompt-to-app tool for turning ideas into prototypes and code. Adobe was moving too. On April 15th, 2026, Adobe announced Firefly AI Assistant, a conversational creative agent that could orchestrate multi-step workflows across Creative Cloud apps like Photoshop, Premiere, Lightroom, Express, Illustrator, and more. So this was not a story where old software companies did nothing. They were already responding. But Anthropic's move was different, because Claude was not just competing from the outside. Claude was already being connected to the tools themselves. In January 2026, Anthropic expanded MCP apps, so tools like Figma, Slack, Canva, Asana, and others could open directly inside Claude Chat. And in February, Figma published a workflow showing how Claude Code could connect with Figma through its MCP server, moving from code into an editable Figma canvas, then back into code again. For a moment, this looked like partnership. Claude would make Figma more useful, Figma would give Claude visual context. Design and code would move closer together. But then, 3 days before Claude Design launched, something unusual happened. Mike Krieger, Anthropic's chief product officer, resigned from Figma's board. TechCrunch reported that his resignation came the same day the information reported Anthropic's next model would include design tools that could compete with Figma's core product. Then, on April 17th, Anthropic launched Claude Design, a product that lets people collaborate with Claude to create polished visual work, designs, prototypes, slides, one-pagers, and more. Claude could build a first version from a prompt, then refine it through conversation, comments, direct edits, and even apply a team's design system automatically. And the market reacted immediately. In response to the announcement, Adobe shares angled 1.5% lower to $244.45 in Friday afternoon trading. Figma sank 6.9% to $18.92. That was not a collapse, but it was a signal. Because the reaction landed on top of a much larger pressure, Figma would finish April down 16%. Adobe was already down around 30% for the year. So the market was not simply saying Claude Design is better than Figma. It was not saying Claude Design will kill Photoshop. It was asking something more uncomfortable. If the AI company can first connect to your workflow, then understand your design system, then generate the first prototype, then hand it back to code, what exactly is the software company still protecting? Figma did not fall because investors thought designers would disappear overnight. Adobe did not fall because Photoshop suddenly became useless. They fell because Claude Design made a different future easier to imagine. A future where the first version of creative work does not begin inside a design tool. It begins inside an AI agent. But there is a complication. The numbers around AI companies can be difficult to read. Run rate revenue is not the same thing as actual annual revenue. It is an extrapolation. And with AI, that extrapolation can be sensitive to usage spikes, pricing changes, promotional credits, customer behavior, and the cost of serving models. That matters because the story is not as simple as Anthropic is already printing cash forever. AI is expensive. The models cost money to train, they cost money to serve, they require massive compute capacity. So there
there are two truths at once. Anthropic's demand is exploding, but the machine required to serve that demand is enormous. This is why Wall Street's fear is so interesting. It is not only fear that Anthropic will become valuable, it is fear that Anthropic reveals something about everyone else. For decades, software companies were valued because they owned workflows. Salesforce owned the sales workflow. Adobe owned the creative workflow. Figma owned part of the design workflow. Workday owned the HR workflow. Legal and data platforms owned specialized professional workflows. But AI agents challenge that ownership. They can sit above the workflow. They can connect to multiple systems. They can reduce the need to open the old interface. That does not mean every software company dies. Some software will become stronger with AI. Some software will become invisible because of AI. And some software may discover that its real product was never the software. It was the human labor trapped inside it. Maybe the February sell-off was too extreme. Maybe some of the old software companies will adapt. Maybe the best ones will turn AI into a tailwind instead of a threat. Adobe is already trying to turn its creative tools into an agentic interface. Figma is already pushing AI deeper into design and code workflows. Legal platforms are already partnering with Anthropic instead of only fighting it. But the market reaction revealed something important. For the first time, investors were not only asking which company would win the AI race, they were asking which company's AI might make smaller. Anthropic did not just scare Wall Street because it was growing fast. It scared Wall Street because it made a hidden assumption visible. The software industry was built around humans using tools, but the next industry may be built around agents doing tasks. And if that happens, the most valuable company may not be the one that owns the software. It may be the one that owns the intelligence moving through it. So the question is not whether Anthropic is overvalued. The question is, what happens if Wall Street is right to be afraid?